Hey guys, this is Coach Brian Hart, and today I wanted to jump back into my work on my YouTube channel. It's been a while, and I want to make this a regular part of my week now that my life is kind of changing here. And I thought an appropriate starting point would be to have a video on trying too hard. I feel like that applies to the way I was doing this channel at the very beginning, and also it applies to one of the main things I've learned over the past couple of years. Um, Having gone from being a coach that was younger in the field to getting more and more training and going on to train other coaches, this idea of trying too hard has stood out to me as one of the most important things for any coach to learn. And it's a silly thing almost to talk about, but it's so important. The more I've coached others with the awareness of I was trying too hard and try less hard, the more my coaching has developed and the more powerful the conversations have been. So, in an effort to try less hard in my own work with this YouTube channel, I'm going to put up things that maybe are a little less polished, but at the same time, I feel like the videos will be more authentic. And so hopefully you can hear that in the way we'll do these videos, because the main thing here is not for me to look like anything in particular or to sound any particular way. I just want the content to be helpful for you. And when it comes to our coaching, if we have that same kind of attitude that we just want this process to be helpful for the other person, I don't care how I look, I don't care how I sound, I want to do as best as I can, but I'm not that worried about my own performance, that makes the coaching more powerful. Training new coaches, and as you yourself just start to get into coaching, if you step back and do a level two listening, that's where you're listening to the client deeply, and you go one step further to like a level three listening. That means you're listening to the way you're talking, to the way they're listening, you're thinking globally. You will notice how tense you are oftentimes. You'll notice how responsible you feel for the way the conversation is going. And that burden of, oh, am I saying this right? Oh, am I really listening right? Oh, am I performing up to the standards that I'm supposed to be performing based on my training or based on the ICF? Yeah, it makes it tense. And think about it. If it's tense for you, it's tense for the client. If it's tense for you in a session, it's tense for the client. If you are having a hard time asking a question, then the client is going to hear a tension and a feeling of something's wrong here. And you know what they're going to think? Kind of the obvious thing in retrospect is something's wrong with me here. They will think something's wrong with the coaching session. Therefore, they will be a little bit less willing to go deep. They will feel like something is going on. Have you ever been recorded with your own coaching? If you've had your own session recorded and you know that it's going to be used as part of your training, or if you are live with the coach demo and you have 12 pairs of eyes on you, there's an upping the ante of the tension, and being able to manage that tension is a huge area of growth. All of our sessions, in essence, are being recorded by the client. So the less of the tension we hold, the more effective things will be. Before I show you how this idea of stop trying too hard relates to International Coach Federation competencies, I just wanted to point out is check out this channel at the beginning when I was trying to get a lot done, and oh, that's loud. I'm just looking at myself thinking, why are you trying so hard? I've got books in the background because I was trying to show that I was qualified to do this, and I'm just embarrassed by it. But I mean, yeah, these videos are valuable, I think, but it's hard to keep this up. It's hard to make content. It's hard to coach people. It's hard to do a lot of things when you're trying too hard, because it's more pressure on yourself, and it's also it's going to have an impact on the quality of the content. And so when the ICF, the International Coach Federation, looks at coaching, they have the same kind of mentality. If you go here, you go to individual credential and go down to this competencies comparison table. This is one of the most helpful tools if you are looking to be credentialed as a life coach. you can go here and there's 11 competencies. Check them out because they are very well defined at each level. If you go to establishing trust and intimacy with the client, one thing that the ICF is looking for is how much a coach is worried about their own performance. So if you look at this, the coach attends, this is what is acceptable at the ACC level. The coach attends to the client's agenda, but is attached to his or her own performance as a coach, and therefore a deep trust and a closeness, intimacy with the client. It's not a strong competency. It's not going to be very obvious. In fact, it's going to be compromised. This is something that stood out to me as I was going through these in preparation for my own credentialing, that if I wanted to be a better coach, I had to let go of me trying to be a better coach. That sounds weird, right? It sounds like super new agey stuff, but it's practical. If I'm trying too hard, then my client is going to have issues trusting me. Why? Well, if you think globally, we talk about level 1, 2, and 3 listening. Level 1 listening is just for me. Level 2 is listening on their behalf as a client, or listening to my clients as a coach for their behalf. And then level 3 listening is listening globally to the conversation. If you can step into that level 3 listening on one of your sessions, or at least record it and listen back, you will likely hear as a coach, if you're newer to the field, some sort of tension in the way you are asking questions and in the way you are managing the space of the conversation. And if you are struggling to come up with the perfect question, you're struggling to make sure the conversation is going really well. If you have a tool that you're trying to lead your client through, and there's this desire for the use of that tool to go so well, then your client's going to feel that. You're holding a responsibility and a burden to make everything go well, but the client is going to hear that and feel like they are failing to make things go well. It's an interesting thing about the way humanity communicates. We tend to think in terms of ourselves. And so the client's going to hear your tension and think it's caused by themselves, and you're just trying to do a good job for them, and it's just getting so tense. And ICF says, begin to let that go. Notice, don't lose heart, because this is at the ACC level. They're saying, yeah, this is going to happen. It's part of becoming a new coach. After doing so many hours and getting your training, it's going to be like this for a while. So don't worry about it, and that's kind of the point. You will fail if you are overly concerned about your own performance and showing off your own knowledge. And that's going to be true for the PCC. Your coach, at the professional level, coach is still conscious of presenting an image of a good coach, so less willing to risk or not know. And so that still stands in the way a little bit. So even at the PCC level, they're expecting a bit of it. But by the MCC level, the coach is willing to be vulnerable. You're confident in yourself, but the confidence isn't based on like, I'm confident I can make this work. And instead, it's like, I'm confident that coaching's working. And I'm just here for the ride. I'm helping guide the ride of coaching, the process of coaching. And therefore, it leads to a sense of ease and naturalness. You don't have to work as hard. And so you see this idea of performance all over this trust and intimacy. As I was thinking about, what should I name this this video, I was like, oh, there's a lot of different ways we can do this. I decided I'm just going to call it Stop Trying So Hard. But I was like, okay, well, what could be some tags? These are areas this idea of trying so hard relates. I should also put on here blogging, writing, and anything like that. So the most coach-related one is, why is my client so uptight? It's usually, oftentimes, because the coach is uptight. If the session is uptight, if the session is manic, it's because the coach is so manic about keeping things going right. Let it go. and let that responsibility go a bit, and the session and the client eases up. Why does my client not respond to suggested tools so well? It could be because you're too concerned about the tool going well, and so they're worried that they're doing something wrong. The same true for public speaking. I mean, I've been speaking on a regular basis for 12 years. Looking back, I get kind of disgusted in some ways by the way I used to speak, but it's just part of one's growth. But it's hard to connect with an audience if the main thing I'm worried about as a speaker is myself and the way I look, the way I sound, and oh, did that go well? That's why great improv guys they're great at going with the flow. And if no one laughs at a joke, it's part of the process. And if something doesn't land, if a powerful question doesn't land, it's part of the process. Funnily enough, why did this relationship with my girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever you are, why didn't it go well? Well, it could be because you're trying too hard, especially trying too hard to be something instead of just being yourself and caring more about the other person than your own thoughts. And that's where we should be caring about the other person more. But yeah, also true for blogging, writing, doing videos, any kind of content creation. The more worried we are that is it going well? Is it going well? Am I being as professional as I can be? The harder it is to actually get content out on a regular basis, and the harder it is for that content to be of high quality. So I wanted to wrap up this video by just saying, relax. That's the main thing I've learned over the past 2 years as a coach, especially as I went for my PCC, professional certification with International Coach Federation. Just relax and go with the flow. Don't worry about interruptions in a coaching session. Don't worry about a question not going as well as it should. Don't worry about a tool not landing exactly as it should. Keep the conversation going. And the best way to do that is to let go of your own worry about your own performance, listen well to the client, take their language, ask powerful questions, and care about them by facilitating the process. That's the most effective way to help people. That's why we're coaches. Thanks for watching this video, number one, and I hope this is helpful. I guess I'll end on this. The reason I've got to do this is because coaching is valuable, and I'm seeing more and more a desire from lots of other people to see coaching thrive and see coaching grow. So this whole channel, I said at the beginning, my goal is to help coaches grow, and as I'm reestablishing this channel with this video, that is even more so important. Working with students, working with professionals, working with people who have health issues, and training other coaches, I'm finding that coaching's a gift to people. And the more I can help the field and cultivate growth in the field, the more people will be helping others. And that's exciting. So see you guys in more videos. Thanks for sticking around and keep growing as a coach.